Newzroom Afrika's Mbali attended that briefing and joins us now. Mbali, what were some of the key takeaways from that, apart from that apology?
Good afternoon, Hugo. So you'd remember that on Monday, Cocta MEC Reverend Thulasizwe Buthelezi was here at this particular municipality where he announced that they would be placing the municipality under Section 154 under the local governance expert, Mr. D.D. Naidu. Now, Mr. D.D. Naidu is not new to municipalities, especially this particular one. He was the former municipal manager for Umdoni from around 2005 to about 2013, as he explained, and he was also the municipal manager of Ugu district, and he has now been appointed to be the local governance expert. And he was just speaking briefly on the fact that he's hit the ground running, in the municipality to ensure that it gets back to his former glory. He has been given 30 days to ensure that he has a recovery plan. But Mr. D.D. Naidu is also, his appointment has left some of the residents here who were part of these protests that we saw in the past 4 months, causing this particular municipality to close, which opened about 2 weeks ago. So the municipality has been at a standstill for about 4 months with no service delivery taking place. And some of the people here are saying that they have no confidence in him because he forms part of the problem, as some of the issues stem as far back as when he was a municipal manager. And you'd remember that as the municipal manager for Ugu district, he was also placed on suspension in November 2020 by the Cocta department, and that was done because they revealed how some former senior officials within the Ugu and local businessmen were implicated in tender irregularities and had allegedly flouted procurement processes, and that's when he was placed on suspension, and eventually he reached a settlement with the municipality and then had left. But he's now back in local governance, and he has been placed as the local governance expert to ensure that this particular municipality goes back to its former glory. You'd know that Scottburg and the South Coast as a whole is a tourist attraction, and many people come here. And part of his plan, as he mentioned earlier, was that he would make sure that come December, they would go back to seeing a lot of tourists here. We heard some of the journalists, the local journalists here in the South Coast, questioning him about how he's planning to also, tackle the water issues that also saw those protests. One of the main reasons why people were protesting here and made sure to shut down this municipality was because of ongoing water issues. So he's been asked how he's going to tackle those issues, not getting much into it, but ensuring us that come December, we would see an influx of tourists in the area. The local journalists mentioned issues of ablution services at some of these beaches, like the Park Rainy Beach, which is not far from here. And so he was given those kinds of questions, which some of them he couldn't answer, but only to tell us that come December, we will see tourists coming in to the area as they usually used to do. But yes, and we also asked about, those employees that were implicated in some of these protests that took place here, Hugo. A number of employees were implicated. You'd know that just last week, the municipal manager as well as the CFO resigned, and they were earmarked as also part of the problem, and they have since resigned. So we wanted to find out what the disciplinary process is there like between those two employees and other employees that have been targeted here within the municipality, and we unfortunately couldn't get answers to that, and the kind of financial implication that came with the municipality being closed for about 4 months. The mayor couldn't give us any of those answers as well, but we wait and see. And as Mr. D.D. Naidu has said, he's hit the ground running, and he's been, in these past 2 days since his appointments, he has been speaking to all the parties that he needs to speak to, and he is quite confident that he will come up with that recovery plan within the 13 days that has been placed by Cocta. Hugo.
I suppose the big question there would be around what are the key deliverables? When we talk about expectations of people of this community, have you had a chance to speak to any of members of the community just to establish what it is that they would like to see almost happen immediately?
Hugo, we have been here when those protests did take place, and the main bone of contention from residents here was the issue of service delivery and the water issues, as I've mentioned. That was one of the main issues, and many of them citing corruption within the municipality, hence that resignation of the CFO and the municipal manager. And we hear that some employees as well will be going through a disciplinary process. So their main bone of contention was service delivery issues. Ratepayers, were complaining quite a lot in the manner in which things were being handled here at the Umdoni Municipality. And what they're hoping to see is, better service delivery for those water issues to be tackled. And obviously that corruption that they speak about within the these municipal doors being dealt with decisively. And the Cocta MEC is quite confident that, by assigning Mr. D.D. Naidu here, those particular issues will change. But as I've mentioned, some of the local residents here are saying that they have no confidence in him whatsoever, because in his tenure here when he was municipal manager, things weren't all that great. But he retorted to that, saying that, in fact, they were one of the best municipalities, not only in the province, but in the country. Those were his words when we asked him how he felt about residents saying they have no confidence in him. Also, citing the fact that he was let go from Ugu as a municipal manager because of irregularity tender processes.
That's where we'll leave that conversation, coming to us from Scottburg on the KwaZulu-Natal South Coast, where the Umdoni local municipality mayor, Mbali Cele-Luthuli, has announced a turnaround strategy, and D.D. Naidu granted the opportunity to make that turnaround. And obviously a little bit of friction coming in that municipality, but something that we will continue to monitor.